What's going on, guys? This is Real Estate Q&A Sessions week 96. 96 weeks in a row of doing this each and every Thursday. Hold on. All right, y'all already know how it is with my audio when I hook up my headphones. So let me go ahead and take them off. But anyway, welcome, guys. This is Real Estate Q&A Sessions week 96. Each and every Thursday, you guys already know what it is. I do this every Thursday, bring you guys nothing but value in the real estate game, where you guys can come and ask anything, everything real estate related. This is Real Estate Q&A Sessions week 96. And as always, I appreciate you guys for showing up, showing out each and every week. Again, I think this is our fourth week doing this in the after hours. I don't have no problem doing that. I mean, most of you guys and most of the true folks that show up each and every Thursday that have been showing up for the past year and a half, I believe, show up during the midday. But a couple of you guys, I got a couple new people that pop up during the evening time. So you guys already know what it is. I'm usually busy during the week. I mean, during the day. And I got tired of doing shows in my truck. Hold on. Bo, come here. What's up? Bo, come here. Come here. Actually, how about this? I just closed the door. How about that? All right. Anyway, so yeah, my puppy, he has surgery today, so he's kind of like all over the place off the meds. But anyway, yeah, welcome. This is Real Estate Q&A Sessions week 96. Again, guys, where you guys can come and ask anything, everything real estate related. Got a couple housekeeping rules. As always, guys, I am not a guru. I'm not going to claim to be a guru. I don't want your money. I'm not asking for your money. I'm not asking for your email address. I'm not asking for any of that stuff. I'm certainly not out here claiming that I do what I do the best or anything like that. I'm not a guru. Let's get that straight. You guys can take my information with a grain of salt. It's completely up to you, right? I'm just an average Joe that knows a little bit about real estate. That's it, right? But I am out here in these real estate streets each and every day. Literally, each and every day. I'm a real estate agent. I'm a general contractor. I'm an investor with a portfolio. I've done flipping. I've done wholesaling. I've done pretty much a lot of different things. So it is your choice. Your choice now if you choose to listen to what I have to say. I'm just letting you guys know I am not a guru. I'm not going to ever claim to be one. So that's the disclaimer, right? The other thing, housekeeping as always, guys, I've done this 96 times in a row. Check the feed. There's 96 hours of content on my feed, and that is my time that I give to you guys because I like to give back. And Bo, stop, man. Stop. Jeez. He's got the little cone on his head, and he is just running around like crazy. But yeah, anyway, so outside of that, yes, I give you guys my time each and every week, an hour of my time. I don't mind. It's free, right? This is what I do. This is how I give back. This is how I prevent you guys from making $10,000 mistakes, because I've made them. I've also bought bad deals before. Boom! Stop it! Jeez. Okay, you're kind of like all over the place, and you're messing up my show, buddy. All right. Sorry. Anyway. So yeah, like I've done this a lot. You guys already know. So for me, the only thing I ask in return, like with my time and how I do this, is not by money, right? Is that you got a screenshot, screenshot this, post it to your story, tag me, and let folks know what we're doing. Because when you guys bring other people in here, you let other people know what's going on. They might ask questions that you didn't think to ask, and when those questions get answered, you get value. You get more value. So that's the whole point. We want to bring more people in. It doesn't have to be 1 million people. I don't care. Some of you guys are new. My whole philosophy with this whole thing is I don't care if one person shows up to this thing. I don't care if 5,000 do, right? I don't care if you stay for 5 minutes. You stay the whole hour. It doesn't matter to me, right? But if you get some value out of this and it helps you not make a mistake down the road, then that's my point. That's all I really care for. So yeah, let's go ahead and get this thing going. Real estate Q&A session week 96. Bring you guys nothing but value. If you guys are new, this is where you can come and ask anything, everything real estate related. Whether you're trying to buy your first house, your 10th house, contractors, rentals, flips, GCs, anything you name it. If I know the answer, I will answer it, or I'll offer some insight. We also run deals over here. I think a couple weeks ago, Only Tay came in here, brought a deal to the table, and we did a live evaluation, numbers, all that kind of stuff as far as exit strategy on what he should do. Bo, stop! I have to put him in this room with me because he has this cone on his head, and I need to be able to watch him. So if I interrupt to talk to Bo, then you guys already know what's good. Let's shout out y'all just popped up in here as always because I rocks with y'all. BNB_B more. What's going on? Forgive me if I misspell your name. Is it Saji B? I met you the other day. What's going on, brother? Appreciate you popping in here, man. Be more Mushnik. I hope I said that right. What's going on? Appreciate you popping in here. My apologies if I butchered y'all name. We do got questions. Saji, how do you determine if something is a good deal versus a bad deal? That is a very loaded question. Very loaded. But it's a good question. Okay, so enlighten me, right? Add some context to that. Are you talking about from my perspective or just in general? Because it's very broad. So enlighten me on that one, right? And guys, feel free. Normally what I do is like if this is your first time here, you guys are free to ask questions at any point in time. Drop those questions right there in the comment section below and or where the question mark is. These shows are saved and then they're put on my feed so you guys can go back and watch, download, do whatever you're going to do. I've been claiming and telling my real estate fam on here. Some of them haven't popped in yet, but I've been claiming that I was going to get this YouTube channel started for literally like the past year. So I have not done so. I'm busy, guys. But yeah, maybe these episodes will end up on YouTube. You guys can watch them on YouTube. But anyway, I normally give an update about like my current dealings, but you guys are straight out the gate with the questions, which is what we want. All right. So Saji says for a rental, how do you determine how do you determine if something is a good deal versus a bad deal for a rental property in my perspective? All right, great question. So I see this happen often, right? And I want you guys to think of this, Bo, you're just gonna have to relax, man. I want you guys to think about this in your own way, right? Like I have my perspective of how I evaluate deals. You're gonna have your own perspective. You're gonna grow to have your own perspective of what's a good deal for you and what's not, because my numbers are not gonna be your numbers, right? I want to make that very, very clear. My numbers are not going to be your numbers, and your numbers are not going to be somebody else's numbers, right? From a rental perspective, there are people or investors that buy houses and that are willing to take on very little in return, right, for their money. And it could be for a multitude of reasons, right? For like if they're from a different country and they're bringing their money over here to spend, and they buy a rental and they're okay with getting 5% on their of their money back, that's great, because maybe in their country they might only be able to get 3% or 2%, right? Me, when it comes to cash on cash return, I'm not going below 12%, right? My numbers are different than yours. So when I explain this, you guys will understand. So what constitutes as a good rental? Well, why are you buying a rental? You're buying a rental to cash flow. If you're not cash flowing, then it's not a good deal, right? That's just easy. And sometimes these things are easier. Sometimes we overcomplicate these things when it comes to like what's running the numbers and things like that. Do you cash flow, right? For the money you put in, are you in the green every month? Are you cash flowing? That's number one, right? You got to cash flow. If your mortgage is $1,000 and you bring it home $1,200 or $1,300, and after your expenses you walk away with a couple $100, are you cash flowing? Yes. Now, is all cash flow great? No, right? Because if you're only walking away with $50, is all your time and effort worth it? Nah, not really, right? If you only walk away with maybe $100, is your time and effort really worth it? Maybe not, right? But again, perspective, it's all subjective, right? So, cash flow is king, right? You gotta have a deal that's gonna cash flow, right? Do the numbers show that you're gonna cash flow? What I like to do, obviously, is look at rentals from a cash on cash perspective, right? For the money that I put out, am I getting a good return on that money back in, right? It's got to make sense. If it doesn't make sense, then I'm not buying the deal, right? And I've gone over this equation a couple times before. It's a very simple equation, right? And I use this equation, to kind of figure out whether I'm wasting my time or not, right? Because a lot of times we'll get caught up in these deals, and these deals aren't deals, right? And you're spending time investing into these deals that aren't deals, only for you to find out that they're not deals, and you've spent either an EMD on it, or you spent an absorbent amount of time running the numbers on it. I do a simple evaluation calculation. I've showed you guys a couple of times on the show what I do as far as like the numbers are concerned, and it's really just a back of the napkin, quick pro forma type equation that lets me know whether or not I should spend more time on this deal or not. Right? That's the name of the game, because your time is money, and the more time you're evaluating a deal that's not a good deal, the more time you're losing not focusing on something else. Right? So let's do a quick equation. Let's do it. Let's do a quick equation. Let's do something. Let's do a basic equation, right? Calculator. Hold on, let me pull up a calculator. I don't do math on air. You already know how it is. All right. So again, first you got to know your rent rates in your area, right? What's your rent rates? Let's just say the rent rates in the area and I had to speak about this a couple times this week, right? It's all gonna make sense. I had to speak about this a couple times this week. When you're doing these numbers, or when you're trying to evaluate what's a good deal and what's a bad deal, run your numbers from worst case scenario. I don't know how many times I gotta tell y'all that. Run your numbers from a worst case scenario basis, because I'll give you an example. Let's say you're looking at acquiring a rental property that has a tenant already in there. Let's say the market rent rate is $1,000. Let's say this tenant's been there for who knows how long, and they're paying $1,200. Do not run your numbers off of what that tenant is paying, right? Because if you were to acquire that property and that tenant fell off the face of the earth the day after you bought that property, you ran your numbers off $1,200 a month, $1,300 a month. Market rate is $1,000. Those numbers don't make sense no more. And now you have to go find a tenant, which more than likely is probably not going to be the same tenant and pay the same amount of money as your previous tenant was. And maybe those numbers don't work, and maybe this deal is not as good as it was, or you thought it was. Maybe you're only able to rent it for $900, but you ran your numbers based on $1,200 or $1,300. And that tenant's not coming back. Don't buy houses based on tenants that are already in place. Never trust that. Never trust. You're buying a house predicated on the tenant that's already there. Don't trust these tenants out here. I'm trying to tell y'all that. I don't care how long they've been there. That tenant, as soon as you get in there, or a month after, or 2 months, or 6 months after, you guys could go to blows. They could want to move, whatever the case may be. And a deal that you thought was on the fringe good deal, now it's turned into a not so great of a deal, because you have to go find another tenant, and you're not going to be able to get the same rent rate that you thought you were going to get with the other tenant. So anyway, that's why you never run deals with current tenants in place. You always evaluate worst case scenario. What can I get in the worst possible situation ever, right? Rent rate wise. So let's go ahead and do this equation. All right, so let's just say the rent rate is, let's say market is $1,200, but worst case we get $1,000. Let's just go $1,000. I like to make things simple, right? So your $1,000, you're gonna multiply that by 12. Why 12? 12 is 12 months, right? 12 months. You're going to take the average, you're going to take that rent rate, and you're going to multiply it by 12 months. What is that? That's $12,000. That's your gross. That's your gross rent for the year. Bo, what are you doing? That's your gross rate for the year, right? Then you're going to take that gross, and you're going to try to find your net. How do you find your net? You're going to multiply your gross by your expenses. But we like to look at our expenses as a percentage, right? So I go blanket 60%. 60% is my, and again, this number can adjust if you really start getting into the weeds of things and you figure out like what's your real expenses. But just a general number. 60% is pretty good, right? Because you have your mortgage, you got your insurance, you got holding costs, you have your maintenance fees, you also have your property management fees, and you also have your savings, your rainy day savings fund for that rental property, and then your profit. Well, not your profit, but yeah, all that stuff. All those are expenses, right? Let's just say 60%. So you take that that 12,000. Bo, stop. Bo. You take that 60% and you multiply that by the 12,000. So 0.60. What is that? Because I don't do math on air. So you take 12 grand. Bo. Oh my gosh, he's so bad. He is not listening to me. 7,200. All right, that's 7,200. So you take your gross and you multiply it by your expenses, and now you're getting your net, right? Your net. This is what your net profit would be after a year of renting this property out against your expenses, right? Now you take your net and you multiply that by your all-in costs. Bo. No. Stop. By your all-in costs, right? And that all-in cost is your purchase price and your rehab, right? How much did you put into it all together? So let's just say we bought a house for, 80 grand, right? And we put 20 into it. 80, the whole purchase, closing everything, right? And we put 20 into it, right? So now we're all in 100. We're going to multiply this 7,200 by 100 grand. What is that? No, I'm sorry. You're not multiplying. You're dividing. I'm sorry. You're dividing the 7,200, the net, you're dividing it by your all-in costs. Make sure it's a division. Make sure it's division. What does that give you? That gives you 0.072. 0.7. That is your cash on cash. That's your cash on cash number. Right there. 7%. National average is 10. Right? Nationally, 10% is a good cash on cash return number. Right? I don't go below 12 unless I'm in certain situations, certain areas. Right? But for a rental property where you put in 100 grand and you net $7,200 a year, you're making 7% on that $100,000. This is why I said what I said when I first started. It's all subjective on what you feel like is a good deal or not. Is that a good deal from a national, just average perspective? Not really. No, it's not. Right? You put 100 grand, you get 7% back. Now, there's a lot of other things you can invest in and get 7% back. Right? But for this particular rental property we're talking about, let's just say you're the one managing it, right? Let's just say you're the one having to find a tenant. Bo, let's say you're the one having to find a tenant, manage the tenant, all that kind of stuff, right? You're doing all this work. You had to save the money up. You had to buy the damn house. You had to GC it, and you never GC'd before. You don't have a crew, and you're sitting there hiring and firing guys, trying to push this project to the end, right? And then you gotta rent it out, so you have to find tenants, and then you gotta manage the tenants. And then the first tenants you manage, you don't know what you're looking for screening wise. So you put somebody in there, you think they got a good resume or whatever, you put them in there, and after a couple months, they start giving you a hard time, all this kind of stuff. And you only bring it home $200-$300. Now I'm gonna ask y'all. Some of y'all don't got rental properties. You go through that whole process. And you walking away every month, or you're fighting to get for every month $200 to $300. It's completely up to y'all. But what I'm trying to tell y'all is, for the amount of time and effort it takes to have rental properties and to manage them, to buy them, the ability to buy them and do what you do, you need to make sure that the money you get in return is worth it. It's a lot of time. Bo! Damn it. Bro, relax, man. Relax. He is going crazy over here. Relax. So, yes, it's a lot of time and effort to buy rental properties, to manage tenants, all that kind of stuff. What I'm trying to tell you guys is, if you're buying a house like this and you're doing all this stuff, make sure you're getting a good return on your money. Make sure that the deal is worth it. Make sure you're not just walking away with a couple dollars in your pocket after all this extra things you're doing to even get this asset up and stabilized. Right? That's what that equation is for. That's why you don't waste your time on rental properties or potential deals that's not going to get you a good return. Right? If I sat here and said, I know if do this equation every time you're looking at doing a potential rental property, I've done it enough to know what makes sense, what doesn't make sense. Right? I don't want to bring up. I ain't gonna do that, man. I was at a deal earlier this week, and some of the numbers, sounded really weird. And listen, everybody runs their numbers differently, right? And some people are willing to sit. Like here's a case where, okay, I'll give you guys an example where it's okay to take a lower cash on cash return rate, right? I'll give you an example. I just told you guys 12%. I don't go below 12% for my rentals, right? 12% sounds good to me. I'm good, right? I have taken deals where 10% is my cash on cash return number. Bo, stop. But hey, stop. Your toys are right over here. Otherwise I have to look somewhere else. I don't care. So 12% I told you is what my minimum. 10% cash on cash return. I have done deals where I've taken 10%. Why would I take 10%? I'm okay with taking 10% cash on cash return for my rental properties if I'm in an area that is highly appreciating. Bo! If the area is highly appreciating and I have a great exit strategy, which means I can sell it on the back end, I'm okay with taking home less if the values in my neighborhood are going up exponentially and it shows every year. Or I got it at a great deal to where I already have a lot of equity into this property. So if I really wanted to get off of it at any point in time, I can, on top of the appreciation. I'm okay holding here in a B class area or A class area where I got an asset well below market value. I'm okay holding here and taking home a little bit less. I'm here. I got a property here, well below value. You know what I mean? That's happened before. That's a case where I will take home less. right? I'm willing to take home less because I have an asset in a highly appreciating area and I got it well below market value. Great, cool. And I've already, yes, I'm okay with those kind of deals. But with the deals where you want to kind of watch it, or when you're where the juice is not worth the squeeze, right? I just gave you an equation on what's a good deal, what's a not good deal. It's completely up to you to decide what cash on cash return number, percentage number is good enough for you. If you start running that equation, you'll start seeing, okay, and you put actual numbers in there, like rental numbers on there, you'll see that, okay, this works if I'm walking, if this percentage works with those numbers if I'm walking away with like $400, $500. For $500, I'm cool with that. Because multiply that by a couple rental properties, 5. There you go. Get 500 5 times. That's pretty decent. $600, $700, you know what I mean? But don't go spend all this time and effort buying a rental property and only walking away with $100. I'm trying to save y'all. Is it Saji? I hope I said it right. Give me a thumbs up if I said it right. Give me a thumbs down if I said it wrong. Saji says, I usually do gross minus MIT times 6%. Do you have any thoughts on that? What is MIT? Again, I'm not the smartest cookie in the book when it comes to Sajib. Got you. Thank you. Apologize. Sajib. So gross minus MIT. What is MIT? Yeah, I'm not the smartest cookie in the book. That's why you guys we don't want to overcomplicate this stuff, right? It's not too complicated. Some of it is common sense. Mortgage, insurance, and taxes. That's kind of like the same thing. So you would do minus. So you got me doing math now, and I'm not really like the greatest at math. I'm going to try that out. I'm not even going to try an example of that right now, but I'll try that out when I'm looking at a deal this week. I am in deal hunting mode right now, so for the folks that don't know about that, when I'm in deal hunting mode, it gets real serious, and I like to pretty much give you guys updates on properties that I am currently looking at, and it's an everyday thing, every single day thing when it's deal hunting mode. I told you, I learned my experiences through acquisitions. And in learning acquisitions, especially working for another investor at the time, doing high volume, I really, really, really found out what it takes to get deals out here. There's all different type of way to get deals, and it's all about persistence, all that kind of stuff. But that is how I learned. That's how I picked up the game. Part of the game. And anytime deal hunting mode is in play, it gets rather interesting, especially when I'm out in the field and I show you guys like how things are going. Bo, come here. Oh yeah, let me. Jeez, we got a couple people to pop in here. Orlando, what's going on? 2love_Mimi, what's good? WB Tavon _Tavon. What's going on? Appreciate you guys for popping in here. Hooday, Benjamin, what's good? A beautiful disaster, what's going on? Appreciate y'all for popping in here, guys. This is Real Estate Q&A Sessions week 96. On our way to 100. 4 more episodes. 3 more episodes after this week until we get to 100. Now, I don't know what we're going to do at 100. We said we was going to do something big, and we probably are. I just have not gotten to it. And it actually, week 100 might actually fall on my wedding, right before my wedding. That would be crazy. The Thursday of my wedding week. I think that's real. Hey, Bo. All right, buddy. I can't bring you up here because you got a cone on your head. Anyway, so Sajib says, other than the number, what are some external factors that you look at to determine what's a good deal or not? Great question. So external factors that I look for, and some of these are preferences, right? Doesn't necessarily mean like it is a horrible deal or something is not going to work. If the numbers work, the numbers work. Numbers always, right? But there are some key things to look for, right? when you are looking at deals, like especially in a city like Baltimore where things are block to block. You really have to pay attention. Buddy, jeez. I guess this is like having a child. They just don't let you do much. Anyway, so yeah, external factors, like I said, like in a city like Baltimore where things can literally change, like by crossing the street, gotta know how to pay attention to a lot of different things, right? In some of y'all cities where you guys are investing and buying, certain things are not gonna be the same as like in Baltimore City, right? But certain external factors I look for or pique my interest, right? Immediately. Double line streets. Like if I see a double line street, I'm probably going to try to stay away from that, from buying that rental property or that property on that double line street, especially if I'm flipping. Now, that's not to say that all houses on double line streets are bad houses, right? Deal is a deal. But a reason I say that is because double line streets, if you don't know, are busier streets. They are more commercialized streets, not your residential suburban streets. So if I'm spending $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 on a property as a first-time home buyer or just somebody who wants to buy a new home and move my family in, I probably don't want to be buying a house that's on a busy street where there's a lot of foot traffic in front of my house at all times of the day. This is what I'm talking about. Even as a rental property. Not saying that people don't do that, but that's something that people pay attention to, right? So buying houses on double line streets, I probably shy away from. Board ups, right? And I should probably do a video. Well, not a video, but you guys have seen when I've gone out and done an actual property evaluation. That is a great, those videos are great for like this type of question. But another thing I'm looking for is board ups, right? Are there other board ups on my block? Are there board ups down the street? What does my street look like? Like, without the rosy color glasses on my face, what does my street look like? Does my street look like it is a block that I can live on? And even if I can't live on it, does it look like a block that is somewhat desirable for maybe a woman and her child or a woman and her kids? You know what I mean? Just, you guys understand what I'm talking about. Is it a desirable block? And some blocks are not all desirable, but does it look like somebody's going to have trouble getting to their front door in the middle of the night? You know what I mean? Common sense with that one. Common sense, right? I'm looking at that. As far as like the construction part of things, structural, right? If the house is leaning, I'm probably staying away from that. If you have a tree growing through the middle of the house, I'm probably staying away from that. And this now starts getting into preferential things that I like or I don't like when it comes to choosing houses that I decide to renovate, right? Some people have a higher threshold for rehabbing than others, right? Me personally, I don't want to do a $100K renovation. I don't. That's just me. I don't want to do a 100, 200, 300K renovation. I just don't want to do it. I like to do value add, do what I can, and get in and get out, right? For my rental properties. Now, for my renovation flips, if I have to put 60 grand, 70 grand, or whatever into a property, I'm willing to do that because of the profits on the back end. But if it's for a rental property, chances are I'm not spending that much time and effort for a rental property unless I got it at a well below value. And I know that when I do my value add and I refinance, that number is going to be exorbitant and I'm going to walk away with a bunch of equity in my pocket. What's going on, Troy? What's going on, Ashley? Appreciate y'all for popping in here. If this is your first time here, this is Real Estate Q&A Sessions, week 96. Been doing this 96 weeks in a row, where you guys can come and ask anything, everything real estate related. Drop a comment right there with your question and or where the question mark is, and we shall proceed. But yeah, so Sajib says, what makes one location better than another specific to Baltimore City? It's all on you. That's the beautiful part about Baltimore City is that Baltimore has something for every investor, right? It depending on what you're looking for. If you want the shell properties for 5 to 15 grand and that's your thing, they got it here, right? They got it here in different locations, almost all zip codes, right? If you're more of the, hey, I want to add a decent amount of value to a 30 to 60K rental property and be well below 100. They have those. They're not in, some of those are not in the greatest of areas, but they're in areas where if you want to do something like that, you can do something like that, right? All depends on your strategy. If you're doing a small value add, you're buying from 70 to 90, you want to be below, you want to be between 100 and 120, they have those houses. If you want to do flips, you want to do flips at 100 grand to 115 to 120 and sell it 250 to almost 270, they got those, right? It just depends on the part of the city. That it doesn't depend on the part of the city. It depends on what you're looking for. What are you looking to do, right? Certain zip codes have more of what you're looking for than others, right? You're not going to find a bunch of vacant board ups in Bolton Hill or Reservoir Hill, right? You're not going to find 300K renovations selling in Bel Air Edison. You get what I'm saying? So it just depends on what your strategy is, what you are trying to do, and you can find it here. And that's the beauty of a Baltimore City versus some other cities. Again, and price points. What is your price point? They have property here at different price points in which you can get in, do your thing, and make moves, right? In certain cities, depending on where you're at, price points are where they are. And they're not moving. Example, DC. Where are you finding a bando in DC for less than 200 or 250? Unless you negotiate the deal yourself, right? Off market wise, where are you doing that? Right? DC, the prices are so crazy, it's ridiculous. So that's why I say it all depends on what you're trying to do, what your mission is. What kind of investor you are, right? Are you the person going after the shells and want to do 100K renovation, 120, 150, right? Is that your thing? Or you want to do a little bit of value add, right? Buy for 60 to 70 to 80, put 10, 15, 20 grand into it and do your thing and rent it out. Like that, there are those type of properties here. Excuse me, he said, Sajib says, could you repeat the last part you were just said, please? What was I talking about? I don't know what I was talking about. It's gas bagging. I don't know what I was talking about. Remind me. But yeah, I think I was talking about what I look for in a deal. And I think I was talking about that. I can't remember. But remind me, I do not remember. I've been talking. Guys, for the folks that just popped in here, guys, it's Real Estate Q&A Sessions week 96, where you guys can come and ask anything, everything real estate related. The only thing I ask of you guys to do when it comes to showing me some love, I don't want your money. I don't want your not hashtags, but your feed names. I don't want any of that stuff. Just screenshot this, post it to your story, let folks know what we're doing each and every Thursday. He says, Sajib says, it was the part you were talking about, refi and leaving with a lot of equity. Refi, leave with a lot of equity. Refi, leave with a lot of equity. Oh, so I can speak on that. So if you ever heard of BRRRR strategy, I've talked about BRRRR strategy, which is buy, renovate, rent out, refinance, repeat. BRRRR. That's what I do. That's how I've accumulated my rental portfolio, which is mainly BRRRRs, right? So you have to evaluate the deal and figure out whether or not when you buy that house and you add the value to the house, and you pull your money out, are you going to have enough equity to be able to make money on the deal? It all starts with the buy, right? So if you buy right within the BRRRR strategy, and you guys can go do your own homework on BRRRR strategy, done a lot of talking about BRRRR. But if you buy right utilizing the BRRRR strategy, you essentially can, when you refinance, you can make money on the refinance, right? So I'll give you an example. Let's say I bought a house for, I'll just do some, they're going to be basic numbers. They might be slightly off if you actually get a calculator, but you'll get the gist of what I'm talking about because I don't do math good on air. So let's just say you buy a house for 80 grand, right? For the sake of just even numbers and all that kind of stuff and making it simple. Let's just say you buy a house for 80 grand. You say, I'm going to put 20 into it. I'm going to put 20 grand into this property. Which means I'm going to try to I'm going to add value to this house. Right now, I need the ARV to be 170, right? Let's just say 200, right? Or let's just say you buy the house for 60, you put 40 into it, you need it to appraise, or the ARVs are around 200. So you buy the house, right? This is your BRRRR. You're going to go buy that house for 60 grand. You're then going to go put 40 grand into it, right? You're going to raise the value of that house from, let's just, wherever the value is, right? You're going to go renovate it. Do it up, right? Have a nice time. Then you're going to go rent it out. You're going to go find a tenant, put a tenant in there. Let's just say you're getting $1,500, right? When you refinance that property, you need that appraiser to appraise that property for 200 grand. Let's just say you get the appraisal for 200 grand. When you go refinance, the bank is going to lend you, your mortgage lender, depending on who you go to and refinance, because you're in a hard money loan, they're going to give you a long-term loan, but they're only going to lend you up to 70 to 75% of that loan, right? And so 70 to 70, Bo, stop. 70 to 75%. Let's just say 75% of 200 is, I don't know, 140, 150 or something like that. I think so. So anyway, let's just say the house appraises for 100. The house appraises for 200. They're going to loan you up to 140 grand, right? Which means that you put in 100 grand. You bought it for 100 grand. They're going to lend you up to 140. If you're doing a cash out refinance, when you close on that loan and you pull money out, your equity, your newfound equity, you've just made $40,000. Again, cash out refinance, you just made $40,000 off a BRRRR property where you bought it for 60, put 40 into it, it appraises for 200. And again, guys, my math is all off, but I'm just doing some blanket numbers so you guys can understand what I'm talking about. Value add, adding value to a property, refinancing out of that short-term loan, and you just, if you pull that money out, you just now made $40,000 or whatever the cash out refinance money is for that property. You just made money. That's how you make money with BRRRR, right? Utilizing the BRRRR strategy. I have built my portfolio strictly off of utilizing the BRRRR strategy, and it's great because that money that you took out of the deal, that money that you put in and you just took out of the deal, you just made money, right? You take that money and you go buy another property and you do the same process over and over and over again. That is how you can acquire rental properties very quickly. It takes a lot of time, takes a lot of effort and all that kind of stuff, but that is how you can build a rental portfolio at a pretty fast rate. What's going on, guys? Sneaker Fiend, what's going on? Appreciate you popping in here as always. Sajid's been coming with the questions today. With love, Mimi, what's going on? Appreciate you popping in here. Aaron, the house buyer, what's going on? Appreciate you, brother. All the way out there in California doing your thing. I think this might be your first time here. If it is, welcome. Appreciate you for popping in here. Love the content on your page, man. We out here in Baltimore doing a thing. Different sides of the country, but definitely appreciate your videos and your insight. Sajib says, after you are done with this question, what do you use to research the market in Baltimore City? So I have a little thing called a real estate license. I use that, right? And the reason I didn't get my license to become a traditional agent where, I'm buying and selling, buying houses and representing. I actually got it for this very reason, to be able to use the MLS as a tool. The MLS is a tool, right? And that's why I particularly, as an investor, needed that tool so I could become more effective at what I do, running numbers, evaluating deals, pulling comps, all of that stuff, data, all that stuff is why I went and got my license. There's investors out here, and it depends on you, right? There's people that will tell you don't need a real estate license, and you don't. You can go do all this stuff without a real estate license. There you go, Bo. Sit down. You don't have to have a real estate license to do this, right? Does a real estate license help? Yeah, it does help. It does. It helps a lot, especially for what I'm doing. If I want to go run comps in the middle of the day, I'm not asking an agent to pull that stuff. Now, granted, there's other proprietary, other third-party things that you can buy and use. Thank you. He finally laid down. There's other resources that you guys can use to run comps and pull your numbers and data and all that kind of stuff. But all that stuff literally pulls from the MLS, and every MLS is different depending on the region you're in, but that is real-time data. That data is regulated, and it has to be correct. It has to be correct from the people that input that data. There's penalties. As an agent, you can't go on there and put false information on the MLS. You'll get penalized, and you might get your license taken. So you have to be it's regulated. You have to put real data in there, or real information on there. It extracts real data from real-time things and transactions. So that's why that's where I do my research. Right? It's very easy to go and look on. And if you are an agent, this is literally at your disposal, right at your fingertips, right? You can very much go into a different, look into a zip code and look at recent solds within the last month, right? All the hot different zip codes. You can basically look and see what's going on, where to invest, where not to invest, right? But again, you can go look at different markets and all that kind of stuff, but you have to understand and figure out what it is you want to do, right? What kind of investing are... Bo, stop. Bo, get off that plane. Bo, hey. What it is you're trying to do, right? Are you trying to target the shells? Are you trying to target the mid-tier value-add rentals? Are you trying to do flips, right? It just depends on what you're trying to do. Then you can start tailoring to different zip codes, because different zip codes offer different things. Parkville doesn't have small row homes with that are shells. That's out in the county almost, right? You're going to go look in that zip code and try to find a house for 10, 15 grand. It's not going to work, right? It's just like Dundalk. You can go look in Dundalk and think you're going to get the cheapest of houses, and ain't nothing really selling in Dundalk less than 60 grand unless you're down by Turner Station. And even still, right? So you have to understand what you're trying to buy, what kind of product you're trying to buy, and then tailor it toward those zip codes, because all these zip codes have a bunch of different things, right? A bunch of different things to offer. Hell, 21217, right? 21217 has huge, ginormous brownstone row homes, right? You could be like, yeah, I want to do that. But the square footages on these homes range anywhere between 2,500 and 4,000 square feet. As a new renovator, that's a lot of house for you to be renovating. That's not the smartest. You spend your money how you want to, right? But from my perspective, going and trying to do 100K, 150K, 200K renovation as somebody who's never done any renovating before, and somebody who has no crew, and somebody who has no connections out here in these real estate streets, that's a tough job for you, brother. That's a tough job. Not saying you can't do it, but I'm just saying that is a lot of house to be renovating. So again, you gotta understand what you want to do. How do you want to approach your first investment or the investments that you like to do? I'll tell you me, right? I like to buy properties that are, how should I say it? Where I can do small value add, right? I can buy somewhere between that 50 and 70 range, 50 or 60 and 80 range, add like 20K. I like to be all in with my rentals for less than 90 to 100 grand. If I can be between 90 and 100 grand and I can collect anywhere between $1,300 to $1,600, that works for me. It works for me. Those numbers are around 12%, 13%, right? That's where I like to stay, right? I don't like to spend a lot of time in my rental properties if I don't have to. Now, you talk to other people, they like to buy 15 grand properties, shells, put 80 to 100 grand into them, and, do whatever they do. That's fine. That's your thing. I'll just tell you guys what I do. Sajib says, gotta leave. I really appreciate your time. This definitely helped out a lot. I'll definitely pop in here next week. We'll be shooting your DM soon. Appreciate you popping in here, man. This is what we do every week, right? We got people to show up each and every week, pop in and out, and they ask questions. This is your free resource, right? Now, might be a little bit of consulting going on up in here. And as soon as I say the word consultant, Ashton brings his funky ass in here. Ashton popped in as soon as I said consulting. Ashton's been getting on me about consulting and taking this to another level. And if you guys want some extra insight or guidance or whatever, hit my DM. We can talk about some additional calls or one-on-one stuff. And, if you guys need some consulting services, then, I can help you guys out in that front. That's something I haven't thought about, but I've thought about it, but I just, But if you do need that extra one-on-one, hit my line. I got you. Appreciate you, Sajid, for coming to the show and asking the multitude of questions that you asked. Very much appreciated. Now that I'm not even going to talk about the deal that your man's bought. I ain't gonna do that. Guys. Anyway, Sajid came here and bombarded me with a bunch of questions, great questions, and that's what this is for. Literally, that's what this is for. But what I always do is I always give you guys an update. I just had a refinance. I have a refinance that's closing. On Monday. And you guys know my past experience with appraisals. At least over the past year and some change, I've had some very bad appraisers. And it's not just me, it's like a national thing. Like, appraisers are just going nuts everywhere with these values. I wasn't getting good value. Oh my gosh. I just went through a lot with appraisers, right? Whatever. My last appraisal for one of my refis last month came in $50K higher than what I anticipated the ARV to be. And that was for a refinance. That was for a BRRRR, cash out refinance. So you can imagine your boy was pretty happy when we pulled that money back out. So we recently had a rental property. I'm working on one of my last refinances of one of my most recent rentals. in my pipeline. And after this, I will have refinanced all of my rental properties except 2. And those are purposely not being refinanced for other reasons. But anyway, so I'm very happy. It's been a year-long process to refinance literally all these damn things. So I'm on my last rental refinance, and we got the appraisal back. And the appraisal came back $50K higher than what I thought it would be. Yes! So, your boy is happy. And that refinance loan is closing here very soon. So I am a very happy guy. The last couple, you guys know, the beginning of 2021. Boom! Stop! Boom! Hey! Boom! Don't eat that! Stop it! Damn it! The boy is a terror. He's a terror. He's like a little piranha. Chomping at everything. Biting my plants. Anyway. So that refinance comes in. No. The value I got on that, great. So that's one of my last rental projects I'm refinancing. I'm actually going to take a break from rentals for maybe the first quarter until the end of the first quarter of 2022. Maybe a little bit into the second quarter. I'm going to take a break from rental properties. I'm not out of the game, right? But I'm going to take a break. Now, if a good deal pops up, I'm buying it. Just what it is. Good deals don't fall out of, they don't fall out of the sky. And I actually have 2 flips that are going to be hitting the market here very, very soon, right? Very, 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 very soon. So that's what I got going on. A small update, but again, little progress is great progress. That's how I take it in this game, right? So, as you guys already know, this is Real Estate Q&A Sessions week 96. Give you guys straight value or real value as best we can each and every week. I think we've been on for an hour, and it's almost 8 o'clock. So, here's what we're going to do. We're going to put a bow on tonight's show. I appreciate you guys. If you guys have any more questions, ask right now, right there in the comment section or where the question mark is, and I'll do my best to answer while I put a bow on this if there's no other additional questions, because my puppy is over here on 1,000 and will not go to sleep. So, yes. So, guys, Real Estate Q&A Sessions week 96. We are closing in on episode 100. And when we get to 100, it might fall on 2 days before my wedding. My wedding is March 19th. I don't even think I've announced that publicly. But my wedding is March 19th. And I think if I do the math correctly, week 100 would be that Thursday. I'm not going to be available. I'm going to be in New Orleans. And it's going to be St. Patrick's Day that Thursday, too. I'll have to work something out. Or I'll do the show. Do it at 12 o'clock on the road. Maybe. I don't know. We'll figure it out. But the math is mathing like it's about to be on my wedding week. And if it is, then yeah. But yeah, outside of that, let's go ahead and put a bow on the show. Appreciate you guys for popping in, showing up. As always, this is Real Estate Q&A Sessions week 96. Next week is week 97. And we're just going to get back to it like we've always been doing. Guys, remember remember this stuff that I'm telling y'all about. I see this stuff every single week when I go out and I talk to people and they're out there buying deals or attempting to buy deals. Run that crap by me first to help you out. Help you out. Anyway, let's go ahead and go. Guys, you already know the message. Making all this money is great, right? Trying to get rich, trying to do all, it is all great stuff. But what's even more important is you spending time with your loved ones, appreciating the time you have with them and doing them a favor by being around, being present, showing love, right? That is the most important thing. Being present with your loved ones. I'm trying to tell you, that's the most important thing you can do, right? We get all wrapped up. Boom! Stop it! it. Oh, I got a new plant, and he's over here chomping it up. Give me 1 second. So anyway, yeah, making money is all great and cool, but y'all gotta really understand, we are here on borrowed time, and y'all should be appreciating the time you guys have with your loved ones, making sure you guys spend time, take time, be present, love, appreciate, all of that stuff, right? That's how you should be spending your time if you're not out here doing all this hustling and bustling and stuff. Again, making money is cool, but spending time with your loved ones, being present and appreciating the time you have with them so they can appreciate the time they have with you, that's the real value, right? I can sit up here and talk to you guys about how to make money in real estate and all that kind of stuff, but at the end of the day, love always wins, and making sure I'm present and my family is first is the number one goal for me. So make sure y'all don't forget that. We're here on borrowed time. You can be here today, gone tomorrow. All right? So outside of that, peace, love, and happiness. See you guys next week. RIP Dolph.